Hi, in this video I'm gonna finish the war system. So you can find the link to download the source code of the project in the description. Also there's a link to download this file, which if you prefer to keep your own source code and just apply the new changes, you can use this file and this video to apply these changes to your own source code. So let's do this fast and start with the server project. I am going to copy the content of the data script to both my server and client data scripts. So that's the data. Let's go to the server project. Here it is. This is data, and I'm just going to replace it. Here we go. I'm just gonna paste that, and let's go to the client. Here in the scripts, data, and we're gonna do the same thing. Now let's go and take a look at the functions script. First let's delete that and let me open this up. Here it is, a section for the database. There is a bunch of functions, some of them are new and some of them are already exist in the database. So let's open the database. Here it is. This is the original database and this is the functions in my functions script. So set buildings, %async, start battle, and general update war async are already exist. So let's go and delete them first. So here in my database script, let's find those functions. Here is the set buildings %async. I'm just gonna go and delete that. The other one was start battle, and let's find it. Here it is. I am going to delete this as well. And the last one is general update war async. I am going to delete that. So let's go back and just cut everything and bring it here into our database. And let's collapse them to get a better view of the scripts. And now let's go to the terminal, and here in the data we need to create a couple of new request IDs. So let's go and find the terminal section here. The first one is war report list. So let me just copy that and paste it here as a new ID. Let's say it's 26, and the other one is going to be war report. Let me copy that and paste it here. So this is going to be 27. And let's actually copy this and bring it to the client as well. So here it is in the player script, and find the request IDs. Here they are, and let's paste it. So that's going to take care of that. For now, let's go back to the terminal script and get to the receive packet. At the end of the packets, well, let's go to the functions script. This is for our terminal. There are two new cases, so let's just paste them here. And of course there are two new cases for the player script as well, so let's just cut that. Let me just close the functions. And let's go to the player script and just add the new cases to the receive packet. So here it is at the bottom of this case statement. That's it. Now let's go and find the UI clan. Let's select everything and remove that. We have a new UI clan that we want to replace. So let's select everything in the content of this new UI clan script, copy it, go to the other one and paste it here. So that's it for the UI clan. Let's just close this one. And there's a new script called war report item, which I'm going to drag and drop into scripts and UI. So let's do that. I'm gonna bring it here. So that's it. Let's go to the client and let's find it. Here it is. Save everything. The same thing in the server. Save everything. And of course we need to create a bunch of new columns into our clan war table in the database. I'm going to go to the structure of the clan wars and add 6 more columns. And let's go ahead and do that. The first one is going to be report path. The second one is gonna be winner ID. The other one is going to be clan 1 stars. The other one is gonna be clan 2 stars. This is gonna be war size. And I think it's only 5. We don't need the other one. Let's just leave it empty. Now let's choose the type for our variables. This is gonna be 2000. This is an integer, and the default for this, let's say 0. The default for this is empty. And let's pretty much do the default for everyone to be 0. The same thing for this one. And make sure you have the default for all the values. And let's save this. And let's also do some small adjustments in the server project in the database script. So let's find a function called getClan. Well, here it is. I am going to expand this getClan script. And here, when we are checking if the clan is not null, then we're gonna get the war. We're gonna add another condition and say stage is greater than 0. And we need to do something similar to start clan war function. So here it is, start clan war. Here in the second MySQL statement, I'm going to open a parenthesis after the where, and I am going to close it here and say and stage is greater than 0. Well, apparently we have a couple of errors too, so let's see what these errors are. The first one is in find battle target. So this set building %async is taking another parameter, and which is going to be a battle type, and this is find battle for the normal battle. So I am just gonna pass data.battleType.normal. Now let's go to the second error that is in the start war attack, and this is for war. So pass data battleType.war. So that's pretty much for our server. Let me just save everything. Let's go back to the client, open UI battle. There's a small change we need to do here. Let's find the display function and let's go further down, and here I am going to add a if statement inside this for loop. So let's do it right here. I'm gonna say if buildings I.x is less than 0 or buildings I.y is less than 0. Well, we actually need to do it inside the for loop, not the switch statement. So let's cut that. This is the switch statement just right here. I'm gonna paste it, and in this case we're just gonna say continue. So let's save this. And now we're done with the code, so let's go to the client and go to the scenes and the game scene. Well, let's go to the canvas, and now here in the clan, let's enable this and let's take a look. As you can see, we have, let's say, a bunch of new variables that we need to assign, and here are some more of those variables. So let's create the proper UI for them. Let me expand this. I'm going to start with the panel war. In this panel map, I am going to create an empty game object. Let's say this is going to be normal or anything you want to name it. Let's make it fill the parent game object and set these values to 0. So now I'm gonna select icon 1, 2, clan names, button enemy, allies, panel info, button edit layout, and also let's select the timer and bring it inside this normal. And let's create another empty game object, name this details, and also let's make this field the parent game object. Well, let's actually put this button back in the normal as well, and let's hide this normal. And in the details, I am going to first create a background. Let's create an image and let's make it fill the parent game object, and I'm just gonna give it a transparent kind of color. Let's say 50 is good enough, and this is going to be background. Let's actually duplicate this, and I could make this a panel or something. I'm just gonna use the background sprite. The design is up to you, I'm not gonna get into that. So let's name this panel, and I am going to bring it to somewhere like this. Let's just say 2020 and put everything else to 0. So, and make this a little bit darker, and that should be enough. Let's create a button for it. So this is going to be, let's bring it here first. And okay, let's set these to 0 and say button confirm. Let's say okay and change the size a little bit. Well, let's actually take a copy from this button. Let me hide the details, open the normal and paste it here. This is gonna be button details, and let's bring this like up here to this point. Let's set these values to 0. And let's change the text to war details. So now let me select the clan and assign a bunch of new variables that we have already created. So let's go to the war area. So we have two panels, map normal panel, map report panel. So that's going to be the normal panel, and the details are going to be the report panel. And this view report button is going to be this view war details button that we just created, button details. And the confirm button is going to be the confirm button we created in the details. So that's pretty much it for now. So let me just collapse the normal area and enable this. We actually need to take a copy from a bunch of variables here. I'm gonna take icon 1, 2, maybe even take the timer. So let's copy that and paste them here. So we can just change the position a little bit, maybe bring this one here, and let's rename this to title. Also change this to title. I'm going to duplicate this, bring it here, and name this, let's say, stars. Okay, this is going to be 0, 0 or something. And also we can adjust the position of this icon and the clan's name. Let's do that. That's the icon for the first clan. This is the icon for the second clan. And of course we can also replace their names. Let's bring it here. So that's it. Change the size a little bit. That is the second clan name. Okay, I think that's enough. And yep, that's enough. Let's go to the clan and assign the new variables. So that's our title, that is the stars. That's clan 1 name, clan 2 name. Let's open the first icon, that is the background, and that is the icon. The second icon, and that's it. Now we also have a bunch of new variables in our profile, so let's just hide the war area and open the profile area. So we need a new button. I'm just gonna duplicate this war button and bring it, let's just say here for now, and change this to war history. So let's change the text war history as well. And inside this panel profile, we're gonna create another panel, and the ideal panel for this, let's just copy the panel clans for this. I'm just gonna paste it here and enable this. So let's take a look. I'm just gonna remove everything except the list. So, and also create a background. Let's do an image, and this image is going to be the background image. Let's fill the parent game object. So this is going to be panel war history. And let's also change the background color to something you like, whatever, doesn't matter. And we're also going to need a close button. So let's just find a close button in one of these panels. Well, I think this is good. So let's bring this inside the panel war history. Now let's go and open the list area and create an empty game object. And we need to attach the war report item to this game object. Well, actually, let's rename the game object to the script name. So that's it. And let's increase the height a little bit and create a panel inside this. I am just gonna change the position of the panel a little bit. So that's it. And let's see what this war report item needs. It needs a panel, of course. That's the background. It needs 2 texts and a button. So let's create a text, UI text. This is gonna be results. So let's bring it somewhere around here. And that's it. So let's also duplicate this and rename this to stars, and let's bring that here. So, and let's set these to 0, and that's it. Well, let's center it too. Well, it's up to you, however you want to design it. We also need a button. So that's the button. We need to reposition it. Okay, here we go. And this is going to be details. Well, that's everything. Let's select this. That is the button. That is the result. That is the stars. And let's go to the prefab, create a prefab, delete this, go to the clan, find the profile area. That's the prefab. That is the grid for the history, grid and history prefab. This is the history panel. That is the history button. And this is the close button. So I think that's pretty much everything. Let's save this and see how this works. So let's go to the start scene and start running the server first. Well, before I start the client, let's actually go to the client project and the scripts and the data, and up here I am going to add war size of 1 to it, so we could start the war with only 1 member. Now we can go ahead and play the client. Okay, here we go. This is our clan castle. So let's go to the clan. In the war, we can start a war, and let's go ahead and start it. So it's searching for a war. Well, in the previous video we started a war actually, and the reason when we hit the war right now and it's not gonna open the war panel, I think because it ended the previous war. So let's go to the war history. So yes, here it is. This is the previous war. I'm going to go to the details, and as you can see, it was a draw between these two clans. Let's click OK. Well, this is the war map of the previous war actually, and we can open the war details like that, and we can just finally go back, and this is the new war that is searching right now. So let's stop the client and go to the server in the database and the accounts actually, and I am going to copy the device ID and paste it in here. And of course, let's change the device ID to that user to something else. And now if I play the client one more time, it's gonna log in as that account. So we can start a war here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. This is clan in the war. I'm gonna search for a new war. It's okay, war started. Right now we are in preparation time, so we cannot attack. Well, but we can edit the layout, so we can edit our war layout and stuff like that. And if we go to the war history and hit the details, this is the previous war. So that's pretty much it. And thankfully we are very close to ending this video series, because pretty much everything that we wanted we accomplished. And we'll accept the chat. I'm not very interested in the chat because, well, I'm gonna do it, but that's not really priority. Pretty soon I should start testing this on a real server to see how actually this works. And then after that we are gonna start debugging and fixing any problem, and even improve performance and security. Security is very important, and even more important than security is performance, because we want to be able to support as many users as we can simultaneously. So we're gonna do those improvements as well. And I hope you enjoyed the video so far, and I hope you subscribe to support me. Well, see you in the next video, and thank you very much for following my tutorials and watching this video.